He who is your teacher will hide no longer, and you will see your teacher with your own eyes. The word prophet means one who speaks forth or speaks before. The word seer, in Italian veggente, has another meaning, that there is this gift of knowledge and of, as it were, vision given to some souls. It is mysterious, but it does happen. We who have not less but more than the prophet Isaiah, insofar as we have the real presence and the sacramental system fully operative, can also have this element of seeing our teacher. If we look at the sacred host or at the tabernacle where the Lord is, we are gazing at our teacher. And if one looks into the eyes of a real person, one goes into that person, into that person's depth, and we pick up the depth. It is a process of osmosis. In the company of a person, one picks the person up. That is true of Jesus. Rabbi, speak, Lord, your servant is listening. And what happens when we look at our teacher is that we obtain what St. Paul refers to as the mind of Christ. We pick up his thought. We pick up his thinking on a thing. That is to say, what he would do and want, how he sees something. It is not noisy, but it is more penetrating than noise. We just know something. That can't be right. That can be. And we also leave ourselves open at great risk to being prompted directly by that teacher. Would you mind if I asked you to do something for me? That is really letting him take over, whatever the cost. How does he speak? There is that, the giving an awareness to the soul, but there is also his language, which is concrete. And the text in Isaiah goes on. Your ears will hear these words behind you. This is the way, follow it. Now he can do that discreetly, interiorly, but he can, as it says here, from outside, give us to hear something coming from an objective source. I know that I came to Ireland because of an objective source. It was my spiritual father who, without my knowing, wrote to Ireland. He was Irish himself and spoke Welsh. He was our chaplain. He wrote to the pre-most detentions here without my knowing. And it was something which, as it were, was say, this is the way, follow it. So God has a language of his own, which we need to be able to read, and not go against it. His story, history, providence, the event, reading, deciphering the event. Our own hidden saint, Jude Norwich, was taught this by the Lord, that there is a language in his providence and that things are for our good. He orientates things for our good, and she is shown that nothing ever happens without his foreknowledge, deep from all eternity. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. And so we ask ourselves, what is the teacher trying to teach me in this event? And it is important should we be aware that it might not be our project or our thought. I remember hearing this years ago, from the novice master of the Carthusians in England at Barkminster. He looked at me and he said, there are some souls who are very keen on something, so much so that they go through life with this mode. I will be a Carthusian, and let no one, the Holy Spirit included, get in my way. Is that our state? It is an application over the will and over time. Lord, teach me. Questa parola dal profeta Isaia è forte. Abbiamo la promessa che il nostro insegnante, il nostro maestro, lo vedremo con i nostri occhi, e questo per noi si fa quando si guarda direttamente negli occhi di Gesù, nel Santissimo. Lì due cose si fanno. Noi guardiamo l'amore, lo sentiamo, e poi percepiamo anche il suo pensiero, il suo desiderio. Abbiamo quello che San Paolo chiama il pensiero di Cristo, perché quando siamo vicini a una persona sappiamo il suo pensiero, e nella presenza percepiamo anche la presenza del suo pensiero e desiderio concretamente per noi, anche la verità come è, lo si intuisce. E poi abbiamo questo anche promesso, la promessa che lo Spirito Santo, lui stesso che prende il posto di Gesù dopo l'ascensione, ci insegnerà. Ci vuole dunque proprio un culto dello Spirito Santo, che è per noi il maestro interiore, che insegna quando siamo passivi. Non si comanda il nostro Dio, non si insegna il nostro Dio, si riceve la sua parola. Perché lui anche parla e dà istruzioni, tipo ispirazioni, che vanno percepite. È davanti a Gesù e in generale con lo Spirito Santo, che insegna e guida quando trova la possibilità. C'è questo versetto forte che segue, che sentiremo con i nostri orecchi le parole dietro di noi. Questa è la strada, seguitela. Questo dunque è il linguaggio del Signore nella sua provvidenza, il leggere il linguaggio di Dio nella sentenza della vita. Il hic et nunc del momento e dell'avvento del nostro Signore in questa grazia del momento presente, come si presenta adesso. E poi abbiamo questo invito a non andare o a destra o a sinistra, e dunque il cursus rectus verso l'eternità. Si ha davanti lo scopo eterno, la beatitudine, e per questo si evita il rischio di perderla. L'avvento è una preparazione a questo. Signore, insegnami a dare a te la guida totale della mia vita. Ave, exules a te suspiramos, gementes et mentes, in ad lacrimarum vale. Ea ergo advocata nostra, illos tuos misericordes oculos, ad nos converte. Et Iesum benedictum fructum ventris tui, nobis post hoc exilium ostende. O clemens, O pia, O dulcis,